Are we ready? Shall we begin? Good morning to all our distinguished guests and esteemed speakers here today, including students, graduates, and members of the public. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor for me to be among such diverse and esteemed speakers. May I commend our organizers for this timely conference as we move forward in our National Recovery Plan and forge ahead towards a better future for ourselves as well as for our country. So let's begin, shall we? Daniel is very kindly helping me with the slides. So can you see my slides? Right. We all know how the COVID-19 pandemic has changed people's lives, as well as that of a wide range of important sectors, most especially that of health, economics, and education. The pandemic has changed how we as educators teach and how our students learn. For the past year, we have had to switch between alternative modes of online and dual mode learning depending on the pandemic situation, especially when we were not allowed face-to-face physical classes. At the Sunway Education Group, we strive to ensure that our students continue their learning no matter the situation or wherever they are. Together with all other education institutions around the whole country, we have adopted various methods to ensure that our students are able to continue to learn and graduate on time. But having said that, students must be prepared for much more than just getting employed once they have completed their studies. At Sunway, we have always talked about needing to prepare students for tomorrow's careers when we talk about jobs of the future. So when this pandemic arrived, suddenly that future was upon us, and many found out that the work that they used to do or know of has changed, possibly for good. With the economic situation and job prospects taking the inevitable nosedive, many young people are rethinking their initial plans and undertakings. For example, our A-level results were just released, and many uncertain sixth formers are rethinking their career choices and university studies, besides whether they should even be thinking about starting higher studies, which could possibly be online before physical classes may recommence. Now, the answer to that last question is always just do it. Start on your higher studies, because it is now more than ever that you need to learn new skills and amass new knowledge to prepare for the eventual career that you undertake. And for those of you who have graduated and are stepping into the new world of employment, then comes the next question. What should I do? Well, please allow me to share a few thoughts with especially our young audience here. Number one, recognize your talents. First of all, each one of us is imbued with certain God-given strengths. These strengths are to support a much larger master plan. Such strengths could manifest themselves in specific talents, and I truly believe they should be celebrated, honed, and developed to bring out the best in each of us. Do what you're best at. I'm sure most of you have heard this being said before. And if it is in mathematics or the sciences, that's really all right. Most people have enough foundation knowledge to move on to truly develop their other endowments, or as Professor Howard Gardner of Harvard University calls it, our multiple or different kinds of intelligences. Yes, you heard it right. not just one intelligence, but many intelligences in plural. Let me tell you a little bit more about the multiple intelligences theory, where Professor Gardner proposed that there are actually 9 intelligences which represent the full range of our abilities. These are visual spatial, linguistic verbal, interpersonal, intrapersonal, musical, bodily kinesthetic, naturalistic, and existential. Don't look confused. Let me give you some examples. Multiple intelligences are best exemplified in historical and well-known figures such as Picasso, visual spatial, Einstein, logical mathematical, and Sir David Attenborough, the naturalist. Of course, we can be intelligent in more than one way. My younger colleagues gave the example of K-pop superstars BTS and said they would fit into the musical, bodily kinesthetic, and interpersonal intelligences. The last one, because of how well they connect with their army fans. Now, I'm a passionate proponent of the multiple intelligences theory. I believe everyone can excel if they understood and truly accept themselves. I have met many students who become dejected, especially if their exam results aren't great. I'm sure that many of you tuning in today can relate to this. But you know what? It is all right, because this is the opportunity for you to find your own special intelligence, talents, or gifts, which can drive you forward towards your passion and individual success. So take some time, get to know yourselves better, and then look deep and discover your talents. This will help you set your path in life in terms of what you wish to further pursue in university, as well as your career paths. The second consideration is really your parents' aspirations versus your own dreams. Parents, being parents, will always want the best for their children, and at times they are faulted for wanting their children to live their dreams, especially so if they never had that opportunity themselves. However, in this instance, many young people may have different ideas or passions that they wish to pursue, much to the chagrin of their parents. As a son or daughter, I urge you all to not necessarily cast away your parents' aspirations carte blanche. It is important to understand where your parents are coming from. After all, having raised you from birth, they know you best, and their views are often a mixture of life experiences, worldly knowledge, and of course, high hopes for your future. After all, there are many who follow their parents' advice, and they do very well too. But you might have a better understanding of the emerging jobs market and in-demand skill sets and career prospects. Considering how fast-paced things move nowadays with the help of technology, and keeping in mind the changes still being brought about by COVID-19, there is indeed a need for balance. So, if you find your dreams at odds with your parents, do sit down with them and discuss this together. It is always best to talk it out, especially since financially and or emotionally, you will need their support. The third consideration is what I call making a living versus making meaning. Young people very often ask me this question: which career makes the most money? Am I right? It is most natural, of course, for one to aim for a path which lets them earn a good living. This is absolutely fine, don't get me wrong, as financial security and quality of life are actually very important. Nevertheless, I bid you all, as you go along your life's journey, spare a moment to think about living a meaningful life as well. This is crucial in order for you to plan your path with purpose. Jack Ma, one of the richest and most successful entrepreneurs in the modern world, once said, I want to tell people that if you want to run a business, you have to run the value first. Serve the others, help the others. That's the key. Now, I can't imitate Jack Ma's distinct accent, but you can appreciate what he means, I'm sure. So I urge all our young people here today, while you're thinking about making money, make sure you're also thinking about making meaning. Money without meaning can make life unfulfilling. Be concerned about the state of the world and feel personally responsible to make a difference. I say this because in life, there may come a point where we could be blinded by the chasing of wealth and power, or worse still, unbridled growth. Hence, it is important very early on to develop a beyond myself frame of mind and one of purpose. You might think, I'm still young and struggling, and there is something for people. This is something, or rather for people later on in their careers and lives. But in reality, it is never too early to think about living a purposeful life. And this actually adds to a different dimension as you start out on your new journey in life. Ladies and gentlemen, fourthly, I wish to address the future of work. The World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2020 estimates, and I quote, that by 2025, 85 million jobs may be displaced by a shift in the division of labor between humans and machines, while 97 million new roles may emerge that are more adapted to the new division of labor between humans, unquote. The report also states that the new roles, which are set to be increasingly redundant by 2025, remain largely consistent with the job roles identified in 2018 and across a range of research papers on the automation of jobs. These include roles which are being displaced by new technologies, such as data entry, clerical work, administrative and executive secretaries, accounting, but more specifically, bookkeeping and payroll clerks, and assembly and factory workers, for example. The report highlights emerging professions which showcase the continuing importance of human interaction in the new economy, including in Malaysia. So this is important for us. What are these roles? They are in the care economy, for example, marketing, sales, content production, as well as roles where a facility or aptitude for understanding and being comfortable working with different types of people from different backgrounds. So from this, we can see that there is an increasing emphasis for learner reskilling and upskilling, especially on personal development and self-management skills. And in relation to all this, online learning and training are on the rise, simply because of ease of accessibility and flexibility. Once again, this highlights the need for and importance of continuous learning, as well as what I call unlearning and relearning. And there's nothing really stopping us from improving ourselves with new knowledge and skills. Many institutions of higher learning are offering programs which are designed specifically around the requirements for working in IR 4.0. At Sunway, we are also adopting what is known as the block mode to allow better opportunities even for mature students to hop on and hop off as the commitments allow. We have also been developing programs offering micro-certificates, which allow students to take only the elements of the program that they want or need immediately in their careers. These can be stacked up into a full master's course, for example, once completed. In short, these micro-credentials provide the opportunity for someone to upgrade quickly by completing short and accessible diploma, degree, or even postgraduate level qualifications. You can imagine that this is incredibly flexible, am I right? As one can choose to study what they want, when they want, and how they want. Ladies and gentlemen, my fifth point is on something which needs to be at the forefront of all leaders of nations, organizations, and companies. In fact, to be adopted by all humankind. This is on the point of needing to be sustainable if we are to talk about any kind of future. The latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or the IPCC report on climate change, is dire. Antonio Guterres, United Nations SecGen, said, if we combine forces now, we can avert climate catastrophe. The report makes clear there is no time for delay and no room for excuses. It is already quite clear to us that climate change is a nightmare. Floods, fires, extreme heat in various parts of the world serve as reminders to all of us of the rapidly worsening problem. The pandemic itself is a grim reminder for us all to reflect and realize that we need to change our way of life and our relationship with planet Earth. Lockdowns worldwide at the beginning of the pandemic brought some reprieve from Mother Nature, but it was only for a short while. But the question is, why did it have to take a pandemic for Mother Nature to recover, even for just a little bit? You might ask, what has this got to do with me again? Now, the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, climate change impacts the whole world. It affects everyone eventually. Shifting weather patterns affect food production. Rising sea levels increase the risks of flooding. Fires cause widespread devastation. The chain of such catastrophes in turn affect the economy, and with that, of course, jobs and your livelihoods, if not lives. The IPCC report, though dire, also provides hope that we can, if we work together, halve or even reverse some of that devastation. But changes have to be made in societies and economies. No doubt a long shot, but if we do not act, we will only hasten the death of our planet and that of the human race. This should serve as a wake-up call. We need to build a better, cleaner world, one that is more balanced, and a world where we live in harmony with ourselves and with nature. Thus, we need our next generations to be responsible to ensure sustainability of our planet, and hence the importance of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We need scientists, policymakers, but most of all, change makers who will promote sustainability no matter their job scope or industry. And on top of that, we also need to have graduates who not only seek employment, but who can help create jobs as well. The 17 UN SDGs are all interrelated. And I must admit that trying to accomplish all of them might seem a bit too much at first. So, as individuals, I urge you, pick one or two or even three and start from there. Ladies and gentlemen, my last point and piece of advice is to never stop learning. This is most important and in fact was alluded to all through my other points. Learning should be a continuous and lifelong journey. It is important for one's growth and even more essential now for the challenges ahead in a post-pandemic world. Here, I would like to refer to the late Sir Ken Robinson, British author and international advisor on education, who in his book, Out of Our Minds, The Power of Being Creative, talked about value shifting and from what he called knowledge stocks to knowledge flow. He said that we need to continually refresh and restock our knowledge, which he means to replenish with new knowledge and allow this to continually flood our consciousness. As I reflected on what he said further, it would appear that not only do we need to keep learning, but we need to keep learning new things. And we need to unlearn at times and then relearn how to learn something else, perhaps all over again. In this new reality, the new learning required, or rather, could very well be how to learn all over again with a totally fresh mindset, to be able to see things through new eyes, and with a new way of thinking, freeing our mental and emotional system of most of what we have been indoctrinated with. A clear example, if I may, is our school system. Students are streamed either into the arts or the sciences. Perhaps you may have been placed in the art stream, but what you really desired was to study the sciences. Or perhaps it was the other way around. Never mind, that is already past. Now it is time for you to move on and start afresh. There are many opportunities for you to learn something new and different. So why not do just that? In order to be well prepared for the challenges in today's post-pandemic world, you need to and can fortify yourselves. Additional skill sets are always good, and this can be done even FOC through available courses on various free online learning platforms such as LinkedIn and Coursera. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, education is a journey and should continue as you live your life. At the end of the day, we need well-rounded individuals with a vast potential to impact and change the world through every state of being. In a post-COVID world, we need people who can think creatively for solutions and who are embedded with the lifelong culture of learning, unlearning, and relearning. We need forward-thinking, innovative, dynamic, and values-driven global citizens who can thrive and succeed in the fluid and fast-changing world of the 21st century. So let's work on getting ourselves prepped and primed for this new future with our new learnings, fueling new ideas, thoughts, and direction, shall we? Thank you for having me share my thoughts with all of you today. God bless all.